lights, and unfortunately that's the terrible state of the car. Okay, that's the actual photograph of the car. So this is unfortunately the car. It's obviously been driving. Yeah, that car has been driving very fast. They did not crash into another car. They crashed into the wall of a tunnel. Okay, so there we go. And as you know, the bodyguard. Here is the bodyguard. This gentleman actually survived. Okay, and as you can see, yeah, he's not doing too well. Okay, so here's the bodyguard, and as you can see, he's got lots of scars all around his face, all under his eyes. These are all the scars that he sustained. I mean, he was a strong, fit guy. Yep, so the car crashed, and Diana and Dodie died, and only Diana's bodyguard survived. And there is Diana. There is the car, and here is the bodyguard, who has obviously got lots of scars. He got cut severely. He nearly died too, but fortunately, because of his fitness and health, he survived. Here we go. And here we go, Henry Paul. So Henry Paul is the driver. And Henry Paul was found to have been over the alcohol driving limit, which means he had actually been drinking. So he's been drinking alcohol. He had been speeding, which, as I showed you, the car had obviously been driving too fast, and had taken prescription drugs. So Dodie and Diana come out of a famous restaurant in Paris in France, and the paparazzi are waiting there to take photographs of them, and she calls her driver, Henry Paul, quick, come, get us away. So Henry Paul and Diana jump into the car, and it speeds off, and the paparazzi are chasing the car. So obviously the chauffeur is trying, it goes faster to get away from the paparazzi. But unfortunately, he'd been drinking alcohol, and was obviously speeding because he's trying to get away from the paparazzi, and he'd also been taking prescription drugs. Prescription drugs means they are legal drugs from like a yakut, okay? So he'd been taking prescription drugs, and unfortunately, smash. The car crashed into a tunnel in Paris, and Dodie, Diana, Henry Paul survived, but the bodyguard lived. Have a look at that, please. Okay, students, so now we are going to move on to today's British and Irish heroine. We finished learning about Diana for the day, okay? So now we'll move on. Let's move on to today's British and Irish heroine. Okay, students, take a look at the next photo and try to guess who is this woman. So I'm going to show you a photograph, and I want you to guess who is this woman. I'm guessing half of you know the name, okay? Some of you will know this answer, okay? But half of you will know the name, but you probably don't know the picture, what this woman looks like. So have a look at the next photo and try to guess, who is this woman? Have a look. Who's that? Okay, so we have a lady here. Obviously, a very long time ago, this was a very, very very long time ago. Okay, she's got blue eyes, so you know that she's European. Okay, who's this woman? I can give you more clues. She's a very famous writer from England. So think of a female writer from England a very, very long time ago, and can you guess, who am I talking about? Who is this woman? Have a think. Okay, so here we are. It's Jane Austen. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you about Jane Austen. You've probably heard the name. Do you know anything about her? Very, very kind, good woman. Okay, so Jane Austen was, an English novelist, and she lived from 1775 until 1817. Okay, so once again, somebody doesn't live very long. What's that? 25, 35, 42 years of age. Okay, so Jane Austen was an English novelist, and she lived from 1775 until 1817. She wrote many famous books when it was difficult for women to be respected writers. Okay, so she wrote many famous books when it was very difficult for women to be respected writers, but she still did it. She worked hard and wrote many famous books, including Sense and Sensibility. So we have Sense and Sensibility. She worked really hard and wrote many famous books, including Sense and Sensibility. And she wrote Pride and Prejudice, and she wrote another one called Mansfield Park. These are just 3 of her very famous books. Please don't think that these are the only 3, because they're not. So we've got 3 most famous even. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, and Mansfield Park. Okay? And these are very famous. And here we go. These are the books. The book cover changes, but if you wanted, we have this one, The Sense and Sensibility, and Jane Austen. And here we have Pride and Prejudice. And here we have Mansfield Park. And these are just 3 of her very famous books. They are not the only famous books that she has. Okay. She went on to inspire many other female writers and proved that with ability and ambition you can succeed regardless of many obstacles in your way. Okay? So this woman wrote many famous books when it was very difficult for females to be successful and to be respected and accepted, because the male writers were the powerful writers. She went on to inspire many other female writers and proved that with ability and ambition you can succeed regardless of many obstacles in your way. Okay? And many of her films have been made into films. Many of her films. I'm sorry. Many of her books. Many of her books have been made into films, and they have been a huge success too. I hope maybe you've read some of her books or watched her movies. So many of her books have been made into films, and they have been a huge success too. And here we go, let's just have a look at this and learn more about her. Okay, so let's learn about her. She was born in Hampshire, England, and as you know, Hampshire, Shire is the same in England as Doe. Okay, so like Gyeonggi-do, Jeollanam-do, Jeollabuk-do, yeah, Gangwon-do. Shire is the same as the do. England is divided into counties which are called shires. She was born in Hampshire, England, and unfortunately her brother was born severely disabled and was placed in foster care. Okay, so she has a brother who is very, very, very disabled and he needs special care. So he's placed in foster care so that people can look after him full time, because obviously her parents did not have the skills to look after this child. She was born in Hampshire, England, and her brother was born severely disabled and was placed in foster care. But she continued to work hard to succeed throughout her life, but lost all her money when her family bank went out of business. Okay, terrible. She continued to work hard to succeed throughout her life, but lost all her money when her family bank went out of business. So she has put all her money into her family's bank, and she's trusted it to be a success, and unfortunately it wasn't, and it went bankrupt, and she has now just lost all of her money.